Lately, blokes, female characters have been a hotbed of conversation, and what you make these days are lots of generic, strong female characters that are only made to look tough and act tough, like Rey Skywalker from Star Wars, Captain Marvel from the Marvel Universe, and Black Widow, another Marvel character. Of course, all these are supernatural characters, but you also have recent examples, such as in the action comedy movies, like in a movie called The Machine, where this ultra masculine female character called Irina knocks down large men just like paper flies. But the one female lead character we will be talking about today from Demi Moore in G.I. Jane is a prime example on how to do a female lead role right. The reason that it is the quintessential way to make a female lead role right is because she is not a master from the start. She does not believe she is the best right from the start. In addition, she does not want any special treatment and has to build herself up from scratch. In this military elite group, she meets a lot of prejudice and a skeptic tone towards her. If this story should ever be real, that a female was allowed to this top Navy elite program, I think the story in the movie actually would be a realistic way to go about it. If the movie had been made today, you would surely have 4 women in this special program in addition to at least 2 black men, and one of them would surely be gay. But I guess that just shows how times have changed so quickly. Anyway, in this movie, you clearly see that this is indeed one of the toughest Navy programs, or perhaps the toughest Navy program to ever exist. And both the Demi Moore character and the others are being dragged through the mud in a lot of situations, basically torn out, and they have to use all the strength they have left in their bodies. Therefore, in many ways, it is a highly realistic movie to see what these recruits are going through and what they have to sacrifice in order to make it. Especially in the movie, you have this iconic moment where the lead character at first is not allowed to continue, but then in pure determination, she does not want to give up. To demonstrate this determination and to show that she is indeed one of the guys, she cuts off all her hair and she shows up with the bunk beds and she demands to sleep there with the others. Of course, with this commitment, she shows that she's in for the long run and not willing to just quit so easily. Demi Moore does a brilliant lead role here and goes through all the emotions of this controversial female character that is handpicked into an elite military program, which basically translates to a super soldier. In the role, she shows how fragile and insecure she is at the beginning. She shows how determined she is despite the hard obstacles she has to face head on. And it is not an angry, hide the world kind of female character, although of course she does talk back against the management, but she does that in a respectful way. Then again, someone might say that this is done from a man's point of view, and that's a perfectly fine opinion. But the way it is done, it has much more realism, and these female characters that just have raw strength from the start, and you never see how they build on it, like G.I. Jane does in this movie. How she must work harder than everybody else to be respected, instead of showing you a false reality where most of what you see in movies are men as the more feminine counterpart and women as the more masculine one. On a side note, this was a movie I really enjoyed, with a lot of dramatic tension, good acting, and of course a brilliant lead role from Demi Moore. That's why it is no surprise that I give it an 8 out of 10.